Good afternoon, viewers. My name, as usual, is Joseph Dibaria, the main administrator of this platform. My reason for coming around this time is to address an issue that was placed on the platform about a week or two ago. It was a historical post that was made by one of our brothers, and it was about a supposed kingdom among the Dagaba that would have existed years ago, with the leader being Selma, the founder of Nandong community. In that particular post, we find a picture with Zenmo in the mix, and then they visited Namburu Kingdom. So people were confused as to whether it was a representation of the entire Dagaba kingdom, or if anything at all, was there a kingdom in the past among Dagaba? So we have the opportunity now to respond to that with a little of knowledge that we can find. Now, first of all, let me give an excerpt of the history of Nando that that name Zenmo is mentioned. This book I hold is the 75 years of mission and development in Nando, written by Paul K. Richard, and that was it took reference to the ages between 1933 to 2008. In this particular publication, we find that the oral traditions of the Dagara, that's the Dagaba on the app, that's have the claim that the Dagaba were part and parcel of the Dagomba, hence the affinity between Dagara and Dagmani, that's the language of the Dagomba. The Dagara, according to their oral traditions, moved away from the Dagomba sometime in the 16th century, while their ancestors were in the province of Tuma in western Gabon. That's the Gomba. They traveled westward, settling at various places such as Sabuli, Naboli, Babili, Laura, Elmon, Tun, and Tunanda. The immigration was gradual and peaceful, and by the mid of the 1660s and earlier 18th century, the Dagara were already settled in Nanda. So what we are to learn here is the fact that they moved from Tuma, and that they were originally the Gomba people that moved in tricking numbers to occupy many places in the Dagaba territory, with the number in particular reference here, that's the number of people settling with the leader Zenmo with them. And then Zenmo had named the place as Nandomisera, meaning to settle a while. That the Dagara and Nandon evolved their social, political, and religious and economic institutions, which have lasted until date. So what we are to know is that the founder of Nandon is Nandon Sera. It is not mentioned as to whether he was even a chief. All we know is that he was a founder of Nandon. But let us see as to whether there was even a chieftaincy around that time. When we come to the book of Great Things Happen, or we come to the book of Great Things Happen, we'll realize that the publisher or the writer, who we call uh, Reverend Father Religious Francis Xavier McCoy, this is the book. When you go to page 36 of his publication, it is said that he said a story that as the story is told, prior to the coming of the white man, the Bai people kidnapped a Dagati woman from Jirapa. An expedition of warriors led by Ghana was sent out to in pursuit and succeeded in rescuing her and restoring her to her family. When the British arrived, intent on dealing with someone in authority, they inquired, "Who is chief here?" At first, there was no response. Then Ghana stepped forward. "I am," he said, and no one moved to dispute it. Ghana, still reigning at the time of the missionaries' arrival in 1929, was the first chief of Jirapa. So, first of all, Ghana was the first chief of Jirapa. His example broke the ice, and soon other chiefs began to appear throughout the Northwest. So, with this theory, what it suggests is that Ghana's example broke the ice of other people all over Northwest and they started becoming chiefs. By suggestion, he happens to be the first chief of the Dagaba and perhaps the Sisal as well. Now, what are we getting here? It suggests that there was no such institution among the people. So if there was any kingdom, why did they not make mention of that kingdom? For that matter, if there was a Dagaba kingdom, which was being led by Senmo, it would have been mentioned. Something little would have been mentioned about it. So in this case, we are to, with reference to this, understand that there was no chieftaincy in position before the arrival of the whites. Now, we can come to this publication too. It's a 2009 publication that was concerning the customary law and usage of traditions of the Wala people, written by the current national chief imam of the Ahmadiyya movement. We call him Mohammed bin Saleh. Now, also citing the same publication of McCoy, he has indicated that there was no chieftaincy in the north among the Dagaba and Sisala. Their chieftaincy was imposed on them by the Europeans. He said it particularly here that this is because neither the Dagaba, the Sisala, nor the Chakali people had a single chiefship exercising chiefly authority over the entire society. Okay, so they were having no chieftaincy among them until the time of the whites. So it goes to dispute the possibility of any kingdom pre-existing. Okay. If we want to talk more about Mohammed bin Salih's publication, we also realize that he quoted um, McCoy by saying that it was only in the 1913s that chiefs were introduced for the first time among the Dagaba and the Sisala. So, which means that prior to that, chieftaincy was not existing. Among the Dagaba, the leader was usually the Tindana, that is owner of the land, which, who was also automatically the priest of the land. Then the equivalence of it was Jantina among the Sisala. So, having mentioned this, let's bring it close to that of Mohammed bin Salih's publication. We can now come to the chess, another publication of the chess, which happened to take place in 1991. And in this publication, it said politically, the Dagaba society is organized rather loosely. The Dagaba never developed a centralized political organization or system of authority. So if the Dagaba never established any centralized authority or organization, how come that there is this man who is a native of London, a very informed researcher, a religious man, well versed with the history of London? How come he did not mention of such a kingdom? Now, he said, yes, it's an acephalous society, a reason for which early Europeans, both the British and French, have described them as anarchic and lawless. So it means that we did not initially have chieftaincy as Dagaba. It was the Europeans that brought it into place. So it also goes to suggest that claim that there was a kingdom in prehistory, in the chieftaincy prehistory, that claim does not hold. Okay, so we can still go on and on and on. But needless as it may be, let me just indicate this is a document published by H.B. Matheson 1997 in the Library of Winneba, North Campus. Now, I'm talking about how the Northern Territory took part or participated in the struggle, how under the scramble for Africa, as the Europeans subjected us to. So, In this publication, it is indicated that it was on 4th May 1894 that the Dagaba and the Wala people signed treaty with the Europeans to have their territories being counted as part of the Gold Coast colony for their purpose. So briefly, what I want to say here is that it can't be true that there was a kingdom, for that matter, a Dagaba kingdom, with the leadership being um, Zemo. In any case, when we decide to go further with the 1991 publication of Paul K. Becher, we realize that the first people to break away from the Dagomba kingdom, as he is recited from Gabriel Ture in 1962, indicates that the first group would have left there after 1432. There is a particular literature suggesting that they would have left there around between 1416 and 1432. And this is the 15th century. In the other publication that Paul Kibeche did about the Jubilee of the Nandom parish, we realize that he says their first arrivals would have made their arrival in the 16th century, which is being preceded by the first arrivals that he recorded in his earlier book, making reference to the first arrival of the Dagaba in general, making their arrival there somewhere in 1493. At least he indicated that by 1493 they would have arrived in Dagaba, and they met the Sisal and the Nubi people there as the indigenous people. So my case is that the Dagaba society actually has been an ancestral society. Professor A.B. Bodono does not agree to this. He doesn't like it when we say it's an ancestral society. He thinks it should be treated as being a unique leadership structure that the society has developed. So, in brief, I just want to say that there is nothing like such kingdom. We can only remember that there was also a confederacy that was created with the sea being at Lava. The first leader of the confederation was Nangana. He passed on and then was succeeded by the chief of Nandon, who also passed on and was succeeded by the chief of Laura. And then the confederacy ended with him in the 1960s. So, apart from this, we have never had any kingdom. And then it could be one of the errors that were committed by the early writers who were mostly expatriates like Moody and Co. So, in brief, I don't think there was such. Thank you.